him out.
I
Go
can't
over
wait.
his normals first. They are pretty straightforward. He punches, and he punches really, really hard.
All the punching. All the
Yeah.
punching.
He's
Throwing the
got-
haymakers.
That's exactly right. This is not a martial artist. You know, he's not, there's not a lot of finesse here.
Right.
One of the first moves I'd like to show is his forward 4, which is like his pretty good advancing mid. He slams you down. A lot of his moves are high, so this is kind of one you want to use when you want to go mid.
Blam.
Another
Is
really
that a
good-
string right there?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, at the end is just a 1+3 input.
You know I love them.
Right. Another really, really good mid up close is his back 1, and it has 2 options. Back 1-1 pops them up, and back 1-2 is mid-mid and is safer.
I really hope he's got some cool air combos, but we'll have to wait, I guess.
Well, I'm sure we'll see some. He also has some really interesting mix-ups to open up the opponent. Like, for example, his sweep is pretty unique because he drops down and does extra damage
Because he's that fast.
because he's super, super fast.
What a show off.
He also has forward 3 where he literally just stomps the ground and creates an earthquake.
So strong.
And then I think this is one of his coolest moves. He has an awesome long-range overhead where he zips across the screen super fast, and if he's up close, he'll zip behind you and knock you down.
And that's just a button.
Yeah, it's just forward 2.
What?
And you can see it has really good range.
That's all I'm gonna need. That's it.
Yeah, you can mix that up with the sweep.
Man, he just loves putting people's faces in the ground.
Yeah, he's a strong guy. So let's go over his special moves. Great.
Yeah.
One unique thing about Omni-Man is he actually has a lot of aerial mobility. All of his special moves can be done in the air. He has ground and air versions of all of them, which is pretty unique to MK. First one I'd like to show is the Mega Clap. He puts his hands together. It's not patty cake, it's the Mega Clap. Sends them very, very far. It's a great combo ender with Punisher, kind of mid-range footsie tool.
Could you almost use it like zoning too?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Keep them in, keep them out.
Doesn't go full screen.
Not full screen, but the EX version goes even further and will destroy projectiles.
Oh, okay. Man, he's just tearing up the ground. Everything he does.
He also has this big charge move where he literally just like charges in with his chest. And we've all learned in the 90s in N64 wrestling games that if you put your chest out, you're blocking moves. So he can just barge in. And the EX version has armor, so this is kind of as advancing. You think they're gonna do like a projectile, you wanna get in. Kind of similar to like a Johnny Cage Shadow Kick. Another special move he has that, and you'll see this, being able to close the gap is a reoccurring theme with Omni-Man.
Gotcha.
Because he wants to get in there and punch.
Exactly. Torpedo move. A superhero classic. He can do this in the air and it actually goes downwards. It'll pop the opponent up. Another move great for just full screen. At any moment you can see it's very, very quick.
So this is interesting though, because if you do it on the ground, you're not following up.
Correct. But if you do it in the air, he gets a pop up.
Very cool. I also really like how the blood from his opponent gets onto his costume. It's pretty awesome. Like I know that we get blood on everybody, but for some reason on him it just looks real cool.
It's just kind of iconic with him, you know.
Yes. So then let's go over his most interesting special move that I think really sets him apart. The Viltrumite stance. So it's down back 3, and he starts hovering in the air. And from here, he has 4 different moves, plus a bunch of mobility options. Let's start with the mobility. You can cancel it, but you can also warp forward extremely quickly. And again, he can do this in the air like all of his special moves.
This is pretty awesome.
And we'll go over his moves. The first, I think, is one of the key moves, which is this grab. And this is like his main combo starter. You can quickly go into it. You can even go into it off of the low I talked about earlier.
Just dragging people in the dirt.
He also has this move where he zooms across super, super fast behind you. That's a great combo ender. It's a great check. You think the opponent might try to like throw something out when he's in the stance, you can quickly go into it. He also has an overhead from anywhere on screen. He drops down.
So it tracks.
Exactly.
Woo!
And then lastly, a big anti-air uppercut, and he zooms across and then covers all the upward space. So it's kind of like the upwards version of the zip behind you.
I just love that spine break.
It's so cool. I like the facial animation. So then the question is, how am I supposed to go into this stance when you're doing projectiles, you're doing long-range normals and all that? And he's just vulnerable floating there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think
Wrong.
he is.
I don't think so.
No.
So in Viltrumite's stance, when he does it, he's immune to all fireballs. They will literally just pass through him as long as he's in it. And that includes in the air.
That's some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen.
It's definitely awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Just dodging.
The EX version starts up faster and also makes him immune to normal attacks as well. And then he can go in and punish them
That's so cool.
as they're recovering.
Finding times to use that's going to be really interesting.
Yes, and again, he can do that in the air. The EX version is very, very quick.
It's going to be embarrassing, too.
It is very, very, very cool.
That's awesome. I love it.
And then lastly, for his mobility, he has a unique air dash. This actually has a physical hit attached to it. It doesn't just pass through the opponent. So you can see he spins the opponent around for a free hit. And you can do two as long as you have meters, so you can do stuff like to do some really cool flashy combos. So you can use that to get in, you can use it to get out, and it'll always have that physical hit. So again, to recap that, if you just do it for the first time, it doesn't take any meter. But if you want to do it twice, like in a combo like I showed, it's going to take a bar. Similar to how Notaro works.
Very cool.
So I think in general, Omni-Man's a pretty simple powerhouse character to play, but he's got great mobility options, great offensive ability, and I think the Viltrumite stance is going to be super, super interesting.
And people sometimes, like, of my level probably, when you hear stance, you get a little scared. But his stance is actually it's not your typical, like, it's not that hard to use, really.
Right, it is not really hard to use, and he was not meant to be. He is meant to be like, just like you see on Invincible, he is just he's just tearing through people effortlessly. That's exactly what a design team went with, and I think they really nailed
it shows, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Super cool. I love it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really, really cool. So would you guys like to see Tremor?
I think we would.
You know what? Let's just save it for another day, Reed.
Just save it?
Just save it for another day.
I'm going to vote yes.
All right.
All right,
I'm swayed. Okay,
we'll do it.
all right.
So